Today, Becomingamanc, we got Matty White. I want to find out what he does actually as a job. I see him everywhere and he does everything. So enjoy the episode today. Let's see what he's got to say. So Matt, there we go. Me and you again.
Here we are, mate. Me and you.
Yeah.
Together at last.
I know. Last time we went to Naples, remember?
Yeah. Of course I remember. Wow. I remember bits of it.
I know.
So this was it was a press trip that you organised.
Press trip for the Festa Italiana.
Festa Italiana. You took a load of journalists.
Well, I remember Matt more than anybody else.
What do you remember about me more than anybody else?
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Naples airport.
Yeah, 6 in the morning.
6 in the morning. Yeah, you lie on one of the chairs with the sunglasses and you go, oh, but you have the beer in your hands. I'm like, okay.
Hair of the dog, man.
Yeah.
Hair of the dog. That trip that you took me on was one of the best food and drink experiences of my life.
We've done a lot, didn't we? 3-4 days we stayed, didn't we?
Like Maurizio, you were like a local celebrity in Naples. Like we'd stop at the traffic lights and you were high-fiving people out of the window. Like everywhere we went, you knew people. Yeah. And you took us to a mozzarella factory.
Yes.
The morning I had a major hangover, so that was tough.
That was tough, innit?
You took us to a limoncello production factory, which was great.
That was in Meta di Sorrento, didn't it? Before we got to Sorrento.
I don't remember leaving the limoncello factory. It was good. It was strong limoncello. It was good. Yeah, it was good.
I think everything we had, was good. Was genuine. Was natural. Was was the test. That's what you want in food, in drinks.
Yeah.
And then all of us together, I think, was good.
It was wild.
It was a good match and it was wild.
Yeah, it was good.
I think I feel like I was the dad because, you come to my hometown and... but yeah, it was good.
You were the dad. I seem to remember what the phrase "tanti guli."
Tanti auguri.
Tanti auguri. What's that mean?
Happy birthday.
Oh right. Why was I saying that? Was it someone's birthday?
I think it was somebody's birthday.
Was it? With us?
I'm not sure. I think maybe we went to one of my friends' bar in Pompeii, and then everybody started to sing Tanti auguri, and then everybody, all of us, Tanti auguri, and it was like, I don't know if it was the drinks or somebody's birthday, but
it probably had something to do with the drinks. Yeah, I would have thought.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Tanti auguri.
And I mean, I know this isn't just about reminiscing about our holiday, but when we went to, was it the first pizzeria in the world or something? What was
the oldest pizzeria in Naples, Portalba?
Yeah, that was one of the best, and it was just like a margarita.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, Gennaro was so good. And years later, I don't know if you've seen it, but years later, Gordon and Gino went to Portalba. Yeah, they were there as well.
Yeah, I saw.
So we went there before them. So.
That's exactly what I said to my wife when we were watching it, but she couldn't have gave less of a fuck. She just wasn't bothered.
No, I know.
I've been there before them.
We've been there before them, so I was happy I took journalists there before Gino took Gordon and Fred. So
it was a good weekend, man. It was really good.
It was good. I think sooner or later we got to do it again. Maybe as holiday this time, as press trip, more has fun and I think it was enough fun anyway. I know you many years, and I don't understand yet what you do because
no one really understands.
I see you everywhere. Last week you were in my restaurant DJ.
I was,
and I was like, whoa, Matty White in my restaurant DJ. What does he do here? But it was good night.
It was a really good night. I got paid well for that as well.
Yeah,
it was
me too.
Good client. I spent years and years and years in my 20s and mid 30s working really hard jobs. Digging holes for a living, roofing, working as a labourer. I was a fucking ice cream man. I've done so many jobs and I hated every single one of them. And what I realised was I'm not cut out for hard work. I'm just not. I was rubbish at all of it. I either quit or got sacked for being shit. I'm not one of life's hard workers. So everything I do, everything you see me do, is in an attempt not to get a job. And that's my ethos.
Any works.
Anything, man. You offer me money, Maurizio, I'll probably do it. As long as it doesn't involve hard work. That's what I do. So I do DJ. I've become known as a food and drink presenter. I'm a presenter anyway. I do events and TV and radio, and but more and more I've been doing stuff that's food and drink related.
I remember first time I saw you was Manchester Food and Drink Festival.
Yes.
And we won the award for best deli, something like that, years and years ago.
Yeah, and then did you come on stage and get an award?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's she called, that girl she does BBC Radio? Becky One. Yeah, it was you and Becky One. I was like, wow, look at them.
Yeah, so I've been hosting the Manchester Food and Drink Awards now for getting on for 15 years, 13 maybe, possibly even 14. I don't know, but I love it.
It's good, isn't it?
It's like my Champions League final, the Manchester Food and Drink Awards. Like, everyone I know is there. Everyone. And one of the things that I'm very keen on, Maurizio, is attention. I love attention. It's the reason I'm here today. So at the Food and Drink Awards, it's great because I'm on stage in front of all these people that I've been working with throughout the year, and I know how hard they've all been working because, you know, it's a tough industry. And then everyone gets to have a nice time. And it's the one day of the year, other than Christmas, where the whole of Manchester's food and drink industry take the night off.
We do.
Like, you try and get a table in a restaurant on the night of the Manchester Food and Drink Awards, you can't, because everybody's getting
there.
fucking levered. Everyone's just
the day after is worse than the day before.
Yeah, don't go anywhere the day after because your service will be terrible.
It's nice to have here because I think you truly Manc compared to me or everybody else we are done. We all like from a different background.
Although, I mean, I've spoken about this before. I'm not a Manc, but
you're in the scenery.
I think some people consider me an honorary Manc. Which is not a title I've put on myself, but I'm quite happy and proud to receive that moniker. I'm all right with that.
I think I love what you do. Always loved what you do from the first day I met you. You know, being on the radio, being on food blogger, be working for Finest, and all the people you work with. Everywhere you turn, you see Matty White is there.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's good. I think. Before we done all this and before we create all the social, all the Instagram and Facebook, I was very, people come to me and say, you need to do this, and I was like, I don't really believe in social. I don't really believe. I believe like talking to people, shake hands, and things like that. But with the time and knowing people like I know you now, and then Jonathan Schofield and everybody was on the scene that time when we start. He put me in a position to say, you know what, he does work, and his people believe what they're saying and where they're going, and they make sure, like we did. I always say, John Schofield, he came to my shop, to my restaurant, the first time, and then he done article, and then we fly from there. If you told me 10 years before that, I was like, no chance, nobody got that power. But he did. We still here, and then you come after that. Who was after that? Was Siobhan. We worked with Siobhan for a long time.
Yeah. From Hanley Communications.
Then now it's all Manchester Finest, Manchester Heat Manchester. All so everything is.
There's a lot of us. There's a lot of those sort of platforms. Some do it really fucking well, like Eat and Manchester's Finest, and some do it not so well. But I won't mention who they are.
I think sometimes what I don't like when people do a review, they do review 1 week, you're the number one, you're the best, you're the first one, and then the week after they interview somebody else and they become the best, the first one, and whatever. I think it needs to be like something to say, example, Salvis open 15 years ago. He was the first one to bring the mozzarella over to UK. Not to UK. To the proper mozzarella, because there was mozzarella here, but wasn't proper one. Brought to Manchester. He done well, blah blah blah. And then just say somebody over next to me, and that's the best one. That's the number one. That's you just. You say one thing 1 week, you say another one another week, and I know it's business. I know it's people pay for that, stuff like that. But
it's a fickle industry. It is a very fickle industry. However, what I do specifically with Manchester's Finest is I do a series called Suggested by You. And what's good about that is it's not a review. I'm not going there to review it. People suggest where we should go because it's good. We check, see that it's good, and then we go down, and then we just highlight it. It's not about whether it's good or bad. We wouldn't go there if it was bad. So if I was to go somewhere and it was really bad, then we probably just wouldn't film it. So there's no lying. It's big, and I don't think you can ever lie. If somewhere is shit, and places are, you can't go in there and go on the internet and say it's brilliant. Because then the minute everyone goes and they go, well, hang on a minute, this is fucking shit, then they're going to lose trust in what you're saying, and you just destroy any sort of credibility. So I think anyone that's doing any reviews or highlighting restaurants, you've got to be honest, you've got to be true.
You know, I like when, you know, you got to talk about restaurants, and 100% agreed, and then you go your opinion, we go our opinion. You know, we got so many things going on. I don't like when people try to do the same thing you done, or the same thing you're trying to do. They copy you, or they say the same thing you say, or you put something out, they put the same thing out. I think if you could do something like go into that side and say, why you done this? You know, that was done last week, and then you know the first one, you know the last one, you know the number. You know what I mean? I think it'd be more active, it'd be more. You know, even for us, it's easy to say, you know what, I'm gonna use somebody, and then I know they're gonna talk about me good because I invite them in, but it'd be nice when you go fucking push them out and go, fuck, you do better, do this, you know, you're not, and why you're not, why, you know, I feel like more, I need to go step up on my game, instead of, all right, I've got it easy. If you cook a meal,
right,
or if you could cook a meal for me, what you would cook?
What would I cook for you? I don't know, I'm quite a good cook, Mauricio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to cook. In our house, you
know what I would like you to cook?
Well, that's not how it works, mate. That's just you telling me what you want me to cook you, innit?
That's
Go
not
on,
good,
tell me. What would you like me to cook you?
Proper English.
English what?
Food, whatever.
Yeah, but what?
Pies, human sausage roll.
Pies and sausage roll, they're your example of English food. That's the best you can do.
Yeah. No, I know. Sunday roast and...
Oh, now we're talking... So,
you know what I mean?
I'll make a good Sunday roast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll make a good Sunday roast. I've got good timing skills.
Okay.
And the
then
thing you need to have...
warm at the same time.
Got to have good timing skills to
make
roast.
a good mash?
Yeah, make a really good mash. We've got this. It looks like a medieval torture apparatus. It's fucking massive. Like this mash. It's an old 1960s German masher, and it just produces like every bit of mashed potato looks like pommes puree. It's beautiful. But all right, so cauliflower cheese is what I would make for you if you ask me. I love, when I was a kid, when I was 12, 13, like everyone was in a gang. Not like gangs you see today, like just nice gangs. But our gang was called... I've not said this out loud in a while. Our gang was called the Cauliflower Cheese Posse.
But yeah,
because I love cauliflower cheese. I got to name it, and we used to hang out on this wall which was nicknamed the Collie Corner. And we had a symbol that we used to graffiti on the shop shutters, which was the Jolly Collie, which was a cauliflower with sunglasses on. I'm making myself sound like a right prick here, aren't I? But the Cauliflower Cheese Posse, we were known, man. We used to get the girls' sisters, younger sisters, that were like 7 or 8 at the time, would write letters to me saying, I know we're not old enough to be in the Cauliflower Cheese Posse, but can we be the Colliettes? Because it was around the time of Bros in the 80s, like with the Brossettes. Can we be the Colliettes? And they'd send me pictures of cauliflowers with sunglasses on, like the Jolly Collie. It's ridiculous. I know, listen, I know it's ridiculous, and I haven't said this out loud, I think, ever, really. Yeah, I'm regretting mentioning this. Listen, the Cauliflower Cheese Posse were known and feared on the streets. I mean, we weren't feared, we were laughed at.
There we go, the cauliflower cheese coming now.
Yeah, I'll make you cauliflower cheese, man.
That could be your next business or your next job. Open a shop, and then you only serve cauliflower cheese with different flavours. With sunglasses, with towels, with hat on.
I know you're taking the piss.
No, I think it works. Everything.
Well, I have thought about this.
You know?
This isn't a new idea to me. I have thought about a cauliflower cheese restaurant.
It'd be amazing.
It would be closed down within days. Who's going to come? Would you come to a cauliflower cheese restaurant?
If it's called a cauliflower cheese pasty.
Would you come to a cauliflower? Would you come to?
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, this might work. There's 5 people in this room that would all.
find your way to, to go into a restaurant business now.
The CFCP, cauliflower cheese pot. We used to graffiti that everywhere. But actually, no, I shouldn't say that. If you were the owner of the local shops, by the way, in Coventry, it wasn't me that graffitied your shutters. It wasn't me.
Last night, there was this restaurant with my friend, and then we were talking, and then the guy owns the restaurant called, "Mo, what are you doing here?" And he said, "Oh, where you live?" I said, "I live in this guy." "Oh, he's a very good Italian there." You know what I mean? And I was like, "All right." I didn't tell him who I was. I said, "All right. So what do you think?" He said, "I've been. It was good." Blah, blah, blah. I said, and at the end I said to him, service is me. Is mine. No, I can't believe it. You know, he said, "Why you not told me before?" I said, "Good, because I wanted just to hear what you were saying about my restaurant. If we was on point, if it was good, if it was, bad or whatever." And he was so happy. And then, we started to talk after that. But it was good because, we were in Chinatown with a Chinese person, and he knew my restaurant very well.
Nice feeling.
Nice feeling, yeah. He's not something like, "Oh, where? How? Where is he?" Or, he knew exactly everything.
Where are the good restaurants, the good Italian restaurants in Manchester, Maurizio? Where do you go?
Bloody hell.
Come on.
Italian?
Gino's?
No. Tell you the truth, I don't go eat Italian. Not in Manchester. If I'm in London, yeah, if I'm in Italy, of course, it's all Italian restaurant.
You don't eat Italian food in Manchester?
No.
Unless it's your own?
Unless it's my own.
Wow.
That's...
the arrogance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm only eating mine.
No, you know why? Because sometimes I'm fed up to eat Italian food, because I eat Italian food every single day.
Oh, no, I get that, yeah.
And then when I go out, I want something different.
I completely understand.
It's not because I don't like it. I will never say anything bad about no one. We all go different style, different restaurant, different way to cook and stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm sure, somebody else is going to say, if I go out, I don't want to eat Italian because...
Listen, I used to be a donut man years ago.
Madonna.
I worked for an Italian company. What were they called? The Coronato Brothers. I used to work for the Coronato Brothers, right, in Nottingham, and they had a fleet of ice cream vans. I was an ice cream man, and then they also did hot dogs and burgers, which was my first sort of catering, hospitality, I suppose, job at car boot sale. But then they invested in a donut van, little mini dinky donuts, and it was. So they asked if I wanted to be the donut man. I was like, yeah, all right. It's shit money from what I remember, shit job. But so it was just a big sack, like a 5 kilo sack of just powder. You'd mix the powder with water from your little buckets in the morning, mix it up, and then you have this like a plunger, I suppose. You put your dough in this and you just squeeze it down and it spits out little donuts. They fry in the hot fat, you sell them, cover them in sugar. And I used to love donuts, but then after that it was like, I can't, and I still can't eat a donut because of how much time I spent with it. And then the reason I left that job is I remember I was in a clothes shop, I can't remember what it was called, but I was looking to buy some clothes with my hard-earned money, and then all I could hear, I saw these 2 girls and they were looking at me, and I thought, oh, 2 girls looking at me, this is nice. But then I could hear them talking. One of them said, he goes, I'm sure that guy smells of donuts. And then you heard someone else going, yeah, I can smell donuts. And I just got so paranoid that I just continually smelt donuts that I left.
That's it.
Never sold donuts again, Maurizio. So
did you eat any after that?
No. I mean, I must have had 1 or 2, but I'd never ever, like you and your Italian food, buy a donut now, because, and again, it's like flakes. I can't eat Cadbury's flakes because when I was an ice cream man, I ate so many flakes.
We don't know. Yesterday, the chef here, the Dinsgate, she made strawberry and banana like Macedonia, like fruit.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And she go, you want some? And I was like, no. I said, why? I said, it's so nice. I said, when I was young, my grandma done a massive bowl of strawberry with lemon, sugar, and then because I was naughty, I took all the bowl, I ate all the bloody strawberry, and I put the
Were you
bowl
sick?
back.
Were you sick?
I was sick, yeah. And since then, I can eat strawberry. And then yesterday, she presented, she said, come on, have it. I said, no. And I said, I need to have it. I want to have it because I didn't have it for maybe 40 years, maybe more. Yeah. I said, I need to do it. I did that. And I eat every spoon I was eating. I was like, oh. But I did finish, the cup with strawberry. And in one sense, I'm proud because after many years, I hate strawberry again.
I'm proud of you as well, Maurizio. Well done, mate.
I know my idea about Manchester was good, was bad, was to be changed, the way it grows and stuff like that. But for you're going around Manchester more than me, and then you see people more than me. What's the new trend? What's the future for Manchester?
New trends? I don't know. I can't keep up with new trends. Like, because there's so many, it's constantly evolving, isn't it? Someone's got something new, dipping burgers, whatever it is. But what I do see getting stronger and stronger for Manchester, and about time as well, is fine dining. So I don't get to go fine dining very often. It's a treat whenever any of us get to do it. It's just, you can't afford to go all the time, can you? But Manchester's getting better at it. I think Manchester people used to turn their back on fine dining. If you've got to get dressed up and pay over £100 for a bit of tea, then not asked. And that, I think, slowed down the progression of the dining scene to a certain extent. 40 years without a Michelin star, no one was really putting their balls on the line and saying, right, I am going to open a fine dining restaurant. I am going to try and get a Michelin star. Until Simon Rogan moved to the Midland Hotel at the French. He tried to get a Michelin star, as did Aidan Byrne at Manchester House. Neither of them did. Simon Rogan soon left Manchester, and then one of the best things he's ever done is he put Adam Reid's name above the door and let Adam Reid take care of business in the French. Phenomenal restaurant, absolutely phenomenal. But it was one of the only examples of fine dining. And then gradually more and more of those high-end places started opening, and then Manor happened. And Manor, I think, changed the landscape incredibly. Not only did it get our first Michelin star, but it kind of opened the doors a little bit, and then more investors, more people coming in thought, well, you know what, we're going to open a fine dining restaurant in Manchester. And these places aren't for me, but places like the Ivy, Sexy Fish, Gordon Ramsay's Black Cat.
Lucky Cat.
What's it called?
Lucky Cat.
Whatever fucking cat. Not my sort of place. Like, I won't go in there to eat. But it now has a place in Manchester, and I think that is a good thing. And now there's a guy called Tom Barnes, again, part of the Simon Rogan army. He's opened up a gaff called Scoff in a relatively untapped area of Manchester as well. There's not a great deal around it apart from New Century Hall. And they will, mark my words, get a Michelin star. 1,000%. I'd put my house on it. I'd put my kids on, no, not my kids, I'd put my wife on it.
There we go.
But I'm certain of it. It will get a Michelin star. And once we become a city with multiple Michelin stars, more investment follows, more people come, more places open.
Yeah, I think for hospitality, Manchester is growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Like you said before, with the new Sexy Fish and the Ivy and then Lucky Cat, and he puts those on a stand to say, we have all this now, not just London.
It brings people in, people visit because of it.
No, it does. Do they do hosts? No, many Manc like the idea to go to Sexy Fish and spend so much money for,
No, they probably don't. So it's probably, I don't want to generalise too much, but it's the Cheshire set. They're coming in, footballers. There's a certain type of crowd, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Salt of the earth Mancunians, proper working class people, which I consider myself to be, they're not going to go in there day in, day out. But it brings a new set of people into the city. And they're not just going to that restaurant, are they? They're going to stop off and have a drink somewhere else for us. It's all good for the
make
economy.
a day, they make a night. To go around, it brings people in.
Yeah, definitely.
We've seen it before. A lot of brands come from down south,
Yeah, it's
they
a good,
come to
it's-
Manchester. Some they stay, some they go. But people come in to try this, the new trend. All the sushi now is crazy, isn't it?
Can't move for sushi.
Everywhere now, sushi.
Yeah, but people want it, and you give the people what they want.
And I heard this Novikov coming up.
What's coming up?
Novikov. They do Italian. So what they do? All sushi, like all Japanese, yeah. And upstairs they go Italian downstairs, and they go club.
What?
After that. So
they do sushi and Italian?
Yeah, but two different restaurants, two different setup. The place in London, Mayfair, is unbelievable. It's so nice.
Would you eat their Italian food if they came to Manchester?
You know what? I tried a couple of times because my choice. They take me there as a guest, so I went. First time was okay. Second time a bit better. But it's Mayfair, isn't it? So it's like you got to try. And then I think they come into Manchester. I know where. I don't know if we can say that, but
You can't charge Mayfair price. We went to Mayfair with the kids recently. We went to a place called Isabel,
yeah.
who've just opened Maya restaurant in Manchester, and it's a very expensive restaurant, but phenomenal. And Maya again, a prime example of this fine dining thing that's happening in the city. They were open in Manchester for, I think, fucking 5 weeks, and they got in the Good Food Guide. 5 weeks, and they're already in.
What do you think Manchester's missing?
What's it missing?
Yeah.
I don't know that it is. I don't know that Manchester is missing anything. I come into Manchester city centre, and whatever I decide that I might want, I can get. I don't think there is a great deal missing.
Compared to years ago,
Is there still a Spud you like? Is there still a Jacket Potato restaurant in Manchester? I'm not sure. Yeah. Didn't James Martin take over? You know James Martin? Yeah. He's got a place in Manchester as well that he's never at.
on the 365, the casino.
Yeah. I'm sure he took over Spud you like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did he that right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Which is mental. That's mental.
oh wow.
There you go. The future's Jacket Potatoes, isn't it?
Jacket potato, yeah.
Shall I tell you what I don't like about Manchester's food scene, Maurizio?
We want a name.
I'm glad you
place.
asked. I won't give you any names or places,
No, that's what we want to know.
but I can't express this enough. I fucking hate it. Bottomless brunches. Now, I totally understand that from an operational point of view, if you've got a restaurant and you want to get people in and you want a quick turnaround and you want a guaranteed income, then bottomless brunches are the way to go. If you're a businessman, it's going to bring you in money. But my God, they're awful, awful things. I remember stumbling across one once. I didn't go to it. I was probably day drinking. Nothing wrong with that. And I stumbled across a bottomless brunch, and it was chaos. Like, have you seen the film Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah.
The opening scene of that, there's just bodies everywhere, carnage. It was like that, but it was all hen do's and stag do's. It's people, they just, because you're told something is unlimited, it isn't a target. You don't have to drink as much as you possibly. I mean, it's cool if you can do it, but just slow down a little bit. Restaurants are having to charge people now. There's and you'll see it on the bottom of the menu. There is a charge for being sick, and they're charging them 40 quid to clean it up. Well, again, which is fair enough. But if you have a concept where you're having to say, and by the way, if you're fucking sick, you're paying for it, then I think that there's a problem with the concept.
You know, I've never been in one, and now I won't ever go.
Do you know what we should do? This would make a great podcast. Is me and you just go around all the bottomless brunches, get absolutely annihilated, but you have to promise to pay for the cleaning up fee, because I don't get paid much.
What's it been your proud moment, your achievement in your career? You know, you're changing job all the time, and everybody knows now you don't like to work hard. So,
what is my greatest achievement? I don't know. I'm a big believer in pushing, just pushing, never stopping. But there's been a couple of things, I guess. So when I turned 40, I'm now 48. I decided that by the time I was 50, I wanted to have been on Channel 4. I just set myself that goal. I saw someone say that setting goals is a good thing. So I thought, I'll do one. So, right, I want to be on Channel 4, thinking it was a bit outlandish. But then got on Channel 4. Only daytime TV. Steph's Packed Lunch, it was called, on Channel 4. But I was their go-to food reviewer, food journalist. And I was very proud of that, because I'd never set a long-term goal before, and I did it. Sadly, they took the TV show off air and everyone lost their jobs. So it didn't have the greatest outcome. And the other thing I guess that I'm really proud of is when I worked in radio, I won. They're deemed, this is a lazy explanation, but it's what everyone uses in awards, but it's the Oscars of the radio world. They were called Sonys, now they're called Arias. And I won a Sony Gold for breaking news, and I won a Sony or Aria Bronze for best coverage of a live event. And it's huge. It might not seem much to you saying it now, but to get a Sony, to work it, there's no bigger. I don't know one, so. It's like a Michelin star, man. There's no bigger prize in radio. There is no bigger prize than a Sony, and I won a gold, and I was buzzing for years. In fact, still am. Just telling you about it now.
There we go.
Yeah, I can feel the pride. Yeah, it was good. So that's what I'm proud of, mate.
That's good.
My
That's
awards.
Good. Awards, yeah. No, but it's always good. People know what you're doing, and you know what I mean. They give something back for your work and your efforts. And
it's just, I always think it's just nice to get a bit of recognition. Yeah. Don't do stuff to try and get recognition. Don't purposely try and do stuff to get an award. But if they come your way, it's brilliant, because recognition drives you. It's why. So whenever I go to a restaurant and I have some nice food, and my wife fucking hates that I do it, she cringes, she goes under the table, but I'll always, before I leave the restaurant, if it's applicable, if it's like an open kitchen, but I'll go over and I'll tell the chefs, like, that was one of the best plates of food I've ever had, or that fish was cooked beautifully. My wife is mortified that I do it, but I just think, give them the recognition. They're not in there just doing it for the money. Well, some are, but they want to make people happy. Most people in hospitality are doing it because they want people to be happy. So if you can tell someone that they've made you happy, I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I think it's important, for me to be decide the wall, and then you come and says things like that, helps the restaurant, helps the people working there. Some, like you said, some they do for the money, for the job, but some other people put a proper effort in. They want as a career, because the way I see restaurant, not many people think it's a career. Not many people think you can have a good life out of it. It's hard, but you do have a good life, if you stick with that. But
I think perception of that is changing. I did a lot of work for a company, a not-for-profit company called Hospitality Rising, and it was their aim to try and encourage more people to work in hospitality, because over the last few years since COVID, there was a huge staffing crisis, not just because of COVID, but because of Brexit, and we lost a lot of people that went back home. So there was a huge staffing problem in the whole country, not just Manchester. And this Hospitality Rising, what we tried to do is, I went out and I interviewed chefs like Raymond Blanc, Tom Kerridge, Angela Hartnett, just top-end chefs, to try and encourage people when they leave school to come into hospitality. It isn't just a job that gets you through uni. It isn't just a job that you do part-time. There's a career there, and that ladder you can climb. You can start in a restaurant as a pot wash, as a KP, and within 5 years you could be at the top. You could be at the very top. Yeah. There's no other industry that allows you to do that, and that you can go in without any qualifications whatsoever. And I think one of the most important things is not just teaching the kids that hospitality and restaurants and bars and pubs are a credible future. It's teaching the parents, when are you going to get a proper job? When are you going to get a proper job? Fuck off. This is a proper job. How can this not be proper? I'm working 80 hours a week, for fuck's sake. This is proper.
I agree with you 100%, and nobody believes that. But if you see famous chef. If you see normal people like us, we in a restaurant. I think I've been fortunate to do catering college in Italy, and then I came over to England to learn English, and I'm still here. I had a few restaurants, and still got some restaurant. So fortunately for me, I done well, but it's a chance for everyone to do it.
Yeah.
If you put your mind in, But I had the same. I started catering college, and then some of my family, he's a waiter, and I was like, look at me now.
Exactly.
I mean,
but even look at you then.
Even there, it was nothing wrong, because I've never looked myself or be shamed. Oh, I work in the kitchen, I'm a waiter. Or no, I've always been proud of what I do, and
you should be proud. I see my eldest boy is nearly 14, and I keep not even suggesting it, telling him that when he needs to get his first part-time job, get into restaurants, get into pubs and bars. It's the best industry in the world, because you learn about food and drink. It's where I learned about all my food and drink knowledge. All comes from working in the industry. But apart from that, and the key thing is, you will meet some of the greatest people that you've ever met in your life. Some of my greatest friends now are all people that I met through working in restaurants and bars. And you bond, because it's hard work, it's hard graft, you have to pull together. But the best thing about the hospitality industry is, because it's such hard graft, is everyone knows how to party. Everyone knows how to have a good time. Because you're working a lot of hours and often split shifts, so you'll get like 3 hours off in the afternoon before you go back and do the night. So your life is kind of very, very busy. So your playtime is post midnight till 6 in the morning. I can't do it anymore, but I remember finishing shifts 11 o'clock at night. You go out, you spend the whole night on it, whatever that is, with your mates, and then I go straight back into work and do a full 8 hours.
Gonna have a shower, get changed, boom,
a shower
to work.
Someone was posh.
So Matt, would you recommend to go to a restaurant? Which one you recommend? You think is good and it make you proud, and
Salvi's,
of course,
best Italian in the city centre.
There we go.
Well, I'm going to stick with Italians. If you be, I know you don't eat Italian, do you? You mad? There's a place called Ornella's in Denton. Tiny little neighbourhood place. There's probably 6 tables in there. You try and book a table now, you won't get one this side of Christmas. But it's authentic Italian. A beautiful woman called Ornella, just making honestly the best Italian food. She's amazing, and everything.
I'm gonna try.
But you should, and I'm sure if you tell her that you don't like garlic, she'll leave it out. But book early. She's so good. So anyone that likes Italian food, that wants to leave the city centre, go to Denton, check out Ornella's. And my favourite restaurant at the moment is I live in Stretford. I've been there about 10 years now, and for a long time there was nothing in Stretford. There was a few decent takeaways. We've got decent chippy, kingfisher, but there wasn't really much in terms of going and having a sit-down meal. But I think it was probably maybe even 10 years ago, a gaff called Stretford Canteen started doing pop-ups in a local Greasy Spoon. Just by day, Greasy Spoon; by night, Stretford Canteen would open, and they were doing kind of French-inspired cooking. Their parents used to run an old famous institution in Manchester called the Beaujolais, which was a very cool restaurant in the 90s. But anyway, so they started doing this pop-up French cooking, and now they've finally opened their own restaurant. It's been open about 18 months, maybe 2 years, just on the outside of Stretford Mall, which doesn't sound very exotic, but it is without doubt not just the best food in Stretford, but some of the best food in Manchester, some of the best food in the country. Do you remember Stretford Canteen? Don't forget that name.
I was out a couple of weeks ago with some of my friends. We went to a restaurant, I don't want to do the name, and it wasn't good. He wasn't good at all. And then the people on the table come here, come on, you got to say something, you're the chef. You're in a restaurant. I said,
it's difficult.
And I said, listen, don't put me on, because I will never judge another chef.
Yeah.
I will never do that, because I'm a chef. I don't want anybody judge me. That's why I cook. If you like it, you like it. Don't like it, don't like it. It wasn't good. you know. So we did, you know, I didn't say anything. At the end, one of my friends goes, you know, we paid the bill, we done everything we had to do, and you know, but we said he wasn't. You know,
and in those situations, so like I said to you earlier, if I have had a good meal, I'll make sure that anyone that will listen knows. I'll go and tell the chefs. I'll tell the waiter. If somewhere's bad, I'm not a complainer.
No,
I won't kick off.
I can't do it.
Vote with your feet. I just won't go back.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of I make.
Well, you know, it's bad because they should know.
They should know. Yeah, of course.
You know, I'm you know, I've got a restaurant, I cook, and you know, we don't get many complaints anyway. Sometimes we do because, you know, we're human and we all different. We all go hard days and stuff like that. But when we get complaint, I do go back to them, and you know, first thing I said, you know, I'm sorry for what happened, and you know, I need to know because I need to get better. You know, what was wrong? And then you see when it's genuine, when it's not. You know, many people just complain for not to pay, stuff like that. But some of the genuine, and I want to know. I need to know why. I need to improve.
Yeah, but that's different from the customer's point of view, man. That's difficult. So I don't agree with TripAdvisor. I think TripAdvisor is a bad thing. When people that go on, they'll slag off a restaurant and it will do them damage. And every chef I ever speak to or restaurant owner will always say, don't go on TripAdvisor, tell us, which is fair enough, but to be able to call a waiter over and I'm so sorry, but this was fucking rank. It's a hard thing to do. Some people can't do it. And I'm not justifying why they do TripAdvisor. You shouldn't fucking do that either. But it's difficult to complain, I think.
Yeah, difficult to complain. But I think for what the cost is now, and you know, I tell my staff, I tell my chef, you know, people coming here pay a lot of money to come and eat now. It's got to be on top.
So you're all right with people? You think it's a good complaining?
You know, I still, after many years, I still take personally.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong.
But you'd rather they told you?
I'd rather they told me.
Okay, because this beer was warm.
There we go. So you know what? Somewhere else. I'm only joking. So you know, it's like that, innit? It's, you know, you take personally, but you know, this is many things we can do now. But people, you know, pay so much money now to go out. You know,
it's got to be right.
You know, our bill was what it was. Our bill was 500 quid. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
You know, no, we not drink anyway. You know, we had a lot of drinks. We had no drinks.
The bill was 500 quid and you didn't have any drinks.
What advice you would give to someone who won't do your job?
That wants my job.
Yes, because I'll be the next one.
Do you know what? And this is something I'm really proud of. Is the biggest amount of feedback that I get from people is you've got the best job in the world. I get to go into restaurants and I get paid to eat, drink and chat. And I'm aware of how lucky I am. Like, it's an absolute privilege. And if you want to do it, then I think with anything, I think whether or not you want to be a food and drink presenter or you want to be a football presenter or you want to be a fashion, whatever you want to do, if you want to be a presenter, the absolute key is just do it. Just do it yourself. Don't spend 15 years emailing BBC One going, I want to be a presenter, I want to be a presenter. Just start presenting. In this day and age, like all the bloggers that are doing it, get a phone, film yourself, start presenting, start putting it on the internet. You might do it for years when nobody's watching you, but if it's what you want to do, keep doing it. And eventually, if you're good enough, someone will notice you. It's what I did, man. It's
yeah. However, you start from.
I did everything myself. No one would give me a job as a presenter. So I made a podcast on my own. I funded it. I put it out there. No one would give me a job on the television. So I made a video series where I go into restaurants and read them bad reviews. Like, I just did it myself. And as a result of that, and then putting it on the internet, Channel 4 saw it and gave me a job. Manchester's Finest saw it and gave me a job. So whatever you want to do, just fucking do it. Do it yourself. Don't wait for someone. Do it.
So what's next for Matt White?
Another beer as soon as I leave here.
There we go.
big fan of beer, Maurizio.
I know.
But I've got a couple of bits in the pipeline. So I'm currently editing a new two series. They've all been filmed of reading bad reviews to restaurant owners. So I'll film 5 in Manchester, 5 in Leeds. Again, I've gone into restaurants and just read them. Like when I say reading them, their bad reviews, I don't just mean like, your pasta was a little bit cold and not quite as al dente as I'd like. I mean like really, like your restaurant smells like piss. There were flies in my, like really hardcore reviews. Now doing it in Manchester was all right because I know the people in Manchester. I knew the people I was reading them to, so I could like cheeky look on my face. But when I went to Leeds, all of these people, it's the first time I'd ever met them, and I'm reading them. There was one. There's a chef in Leeds. He's all right, man. He's a nice guy, but he was on MasterChef years ago, and he's very fond of his own image. So outside his restaurant, there's a big image of him, like bearing down on you. All his menus, there's a photo of him. Like at the end of the meal, he brings out a signed picture of him. And someone left a review going like, when are they going to get over themselves? Because when we came in for a meal, we knew that he was in the walk-in fridge wanking off over the fact that he'd just given us a signed picture, which is awful. I'm sorry that I've had to say those words, but reading it to his face and watching like little tears start to well up, it's a funny thing to do. But yeah, so that's coming out soon. That'll be worth watching. And I'm also about to try and give you a run for your money, and I'm doing a food and drink podcast as well for Greater Manchester, but it won't be as good as this.
So Matt, what does it take to become a Manc?
To become a Manc?
To become a Manc.
Well, I've had a conversation with some people recently where I was told that I was an honorary Manc. But I don't think... So unless, of course, you're born in Manchester. My 2 kids were born in Manchester. They are Mancs, and that's one of my proudest achievements because I love Manchester. But I would never... Yeah, and so do you think of your kids as Mancs?
Yes.
Yeah?
I tell them, I tell them all the time, and they go, Dad, you can say that. And I said to them, you're too English. And they go, what that?
So your kids think you're too Italian.
You think I said to them, English? Yeah, you're still too Italian. You live in Manchester now. You got to be more. I said, no, I will never. I never change my accent.
You haven't got an accent, have you?
No, not really.
I've not heard one.
No, even. You know what? When I'm outside England, or when I'm outside Manchester, everybody think you're from Manchester. No,
they don't.
They do, yeah, because I come out, innit?
Oh yeah, no,
things like that.
Yeah.
When I speak is even if I go to anywhere in Italy and they go, "Where's your accent?" I said, "I don't know. I'm from here."
I love an accent, and one of my, it's a bad trait I think, is when I'm talking to someone that's got an accent, I can't help it. I'll repeat it back to them.
I'm the same.
I just repeat it back to them. And I think that's okay if it's a Scouse accent or a Birmingham accent. But this has been a real test of character for me because I think I'll end up getting cancelled. If I sit here and start copying your accent, I'll never work another day. Some people deem me to be an adopted Manc, and that's a wonderful, wonderful compliment. And I think that the key... And it's how I try and live my life, and advice I'd give to anyone that if you'd say, oh, you might be an adopted Manc, is just don't be a dick.
There we go.
Don't be a dick.
In Manchester.
Yeah, just don't be a dick in life. Like, I try so hard not to be a dick. And I am. Don't get me wrong. I'm as much as a dick as the next person. But I try really hard not to be. And if you can just be sound... That's all I want written on my gravestone, by the way. He was sound. I just want to be sound. I don't want to be... famous. I don't want to be super rich. I don't really have any aspirations to do anything other than not work. I just want people to think I'm all right.
Yeah.
And
sound.
Yeah, I just want to be sound. Be sound.
So, become a Manc. If you sound, you're a Mancunian. There we go.
Don't be a dick and be sound.
There we go.
And Manchester will accept you.